Anka looks like the basic assassin, with an exceptional good splash art. Besides her splash, which still doesn't have cute rainbow glitter, you could think that she's just another hero release. She isn't even that much of a surprise anymore, as leaks have shown us how Hero 54 is going to look like almost a month before. Anyway, her spotlight came out just a few days ago and she's now playable on the server. Pretty normal. So you think that she's just a normal hero? Then hold on, I'm going to show you why she's in my opinion the best hero release so far. But first things first. I'm just gonna assume that you've already seen Anka's hero spotlight. If not, you can watch it now here. I put a link in the description. In this video I want to discuss Anka's kit and her playstyle and what makes her my favorite hero in Vainglory so far. First off, her kit. It goes as follows. The first ability is Shimmer Blade. As you already know from the hero spotlight, Anka marks an enemy by throwing a dagger. Also, you can reactivate the ability to teleport behind the enemy. The ability is designed extremely simple, and that's what makes it an all-rounder. You can use it for any given situation, and that's why Shimmer Blade is in my opinion her core ability, which you have to master in order to just pentakill with Anka. But let's talk about that in 1 second. The next one. Her second ability is called Dance of Blades, but I'm just gonna call it the shotgun. You'll shoot out a fan of 5 blades in the chosen direction, which basically means that you will deal a lot of damage if you stand close to the enemy. As her third ability, I'm just gonna take her passive Gyphian Promise. You can describe it as somewhat of an execute. Every few seconds you have an amplified auto attack which deals more damage based on the missing health of the enemy. It's perfect for finishing off enemies after a team fight or after your ability combo. And now her last ability, the Ultimate. As you already know from the spotlight, it's really cool that it can be used to avoid incoming damage, to confuse enemy, and of course to pull off some sick combos with the rest of her kit, to make some plays and to dish out tons of damage. Alright, that have been her abilities. Here's one thing I noticed when I saw them. If you look at all the abilities, they are all dependent on her A, Shimmer Blade. Look, take her passive and her B, the shotgun. You have to stand really close to your opponent to deal great damage with those two abilities. And take her ult for example. You have to get somehow behind the enemy, which is really hard if you don't have a gap closer. What I really want to say is, her A, Shimmer Blade, is the only gap closer, or call it repositioner, in the whole kit, which makes it so important. Without it you won't deal a lot of damage and certainly won't get your pentakill, except if you're kill stealing, but let's talk about that in another video. So with that in our minds, I'm going to tell you why I love Anka's playstyle so much. All her abilities work together very well. The combos which result from these mechanics are infinite, and not just the combos, but also the ways of executing them can be extremely different. Anka's kit is ultra flexible, and that's exactly what an assassin needs. Besides that, her teleport, I love it. Shimmer Blade. It's something completely new in Vainglory. Such a teleport which you can use a lot hasn't been there before. Vox and Idris, they all just have dashes. I love teleports, and it's perfect for the gameplay of an assassin. You can make such sick plays out of it. The next thing is, of course, her ultimate. I always wanted to see something like that in Vainglory. It's just never been here before. Finally we have clones like LeBlanc or Zed from League of Legends. You can confuse enemies and trick them. Together with her teleport, things can get really complicated, and that's what I find perfect. And dude, the effect that her clones come back to her later is so cool. You have to play very well to execute that the right way. Plus, it makes amazing moments for gaming montages. Now, let's get to the point. What I just said is exactly what makes an assassin for me. Brain fuck and confuse the enemy, extremely fast attacks with burst damage and complicated gameplay. More than just spamming 2 abilities. And yeah, Taka, I'm looking at you. Anka is the first real assassin in Vainglory, at least for me. Now, after all those positive things and blah, there's still one thing with Anka that bothers me. If you don't have a lot of gold, or if you're not kinda feeded with Anka, you'll never deal enough damage, no matter how well you play the combo to kill your opponent. And when everything is on cooldown, well, you're dead then, because you don't have any escape left. What I'd like to see with Anka is maybe not entirely possible in Vainglory at this moment. Anka needs one more ability. Yes, you heard it right. I'd like to see one more ability. 4 instead of the usual 3 in Vainglory. My advice would be to give her some kind of mobility, even if it's just restricted mobility. For example, if you could swap positions with one of your clones, it would add a lot to her assassin playstyle, and also she wouldn't be completely blank after pulling off a combo. Anka would then have a lot more possibilities to stay mobile in a teamfight, and also would be even more fun to play. The best example for that is Zed from League of Legends. He has a similar kit as Anka and can swap position with his clones multiple times because he has 4 abilities. And by the way, he's one of the most popular champions in the game. Maybe it is time to expand the number of abilities for new heroes in Vainglory. We now have a 5v5 mode. Why not 4 abilities then? Of course, I'm only touching on a huge topic with that, but what would speak against it? I don't think that one more ability would cause longer matches. However, in the best case it will only bring more depth to the teamfights, right? And esports would certainly benefit from that. I'm really interested in what you think of that. What speaks against it or what speaks for it? If you discuss a lot, maybe I can make another video about that later on. Until then, thank you for watching and see ya.